Welcome to Computer Science Learners. In this video, we are going to discuss about operating system structure. Operating system can be implemented with the help of various structures. The structure of the operating system depends mainly on how the components are connected and melded into the kernel. Now, exactly what is operating system structure? So, to design and develop an operating system, we need to combine the similar functionality into components, and how we arrange these components that tells the structure. So because of this arrangement, the communication established between the components, and how these components are communicated, that gives the efficiency of the operating system. And also in future, if you want to add any new functionalities to the operating system, the structure should be supported in that way. So that is the reason the structure of the operating system is very important. Now we will see different structures of the operating systems. So first one is simple structure. So simple structure is used to design the operating systems like Microsoft DOS and Unix. So first we will see Microsoft DOS operating system. So Microsoft DOS operating system was the earlier operating system. It occupies very less memory. So even within the floppy drive, we can use this operating system, right? So it provides the most functionality in the least space. Because of having very less space, very less functionality also, within the short space we can add different functionalities. And there is no module concept. That means there is no specific division of the modules in DOS operating system. And also interfaces functionalities are not well separated. Now we will understand this with the diagram. So in this diagram we have 4 parts. The top level is application program. It is interactive with the resident system program, and through the resident system program communicate with the MS-DOS device drivers, finally hardware. So if you observe, from any part, from the application program, from the resident system program, and also from the device drivers, we can communicate with the hardware of the computer. So this is the main drawback in case of MS-DOS operating system. So always the application programs cannot directly interact with the hardware. Then only the operating system provides full security. So otherwise there might be chance for accessing the hardware parts and doing some malicious things also. Okay, so that is the main drawback of the DOS operating system. From any level we can communicate with the hardware, and there is no particular interface concepts between the levels, from the application program to residential system program, from residential system program to MS-DOS device drivers. Like that, there is no perfect interface communication between the levels. Okay, so that is about Microsoft DOS operating system. Now we will see Unix operating system. It is also use a simple structure, but when compared to the DOS operating system, here the core component is divided into 2 parts: system programs and kernel. So here there is a classification or division we will understand with this diagram. So if you observe the diagram, so there is a system called interface. So this is the system called interface, and so kernel interface to the hardware. So in between, so this section is our exact functionality of the operating system Unix. So if you observe, all the functionalities are kept in a single block. So there are so many functionalities, all are kept in a single block, and there is a division, okay. So when compared to the DOS operating system, here some kind of module division is there, but not exactly. So even one block consists of all the signals terminal related functionalities, character IO systems and terminal drivers. So different functionalities are bundled together and make it as blocks. Now what is the disadvantage if you maintain this kind of blocks having different functionalities? In the sense, if you want to add any new functionalities, if you want to update any new things, it is very difficult. So if there is no particular classification of the functionalities in the structure of the operating system, always it is difficult to handle it in future. So that is the drawback of the Unix operating system. But when compared to the DOS operating system, here there is a clear-cut division of the functionalities there, and there is a interface level by level interface is also there. So from system call interface to the kernel, from kernel interface to the hardware, there is an interface. We cannot directly, these functionalities directly cannot communicate with the hardware. Even the user cannot communicate with this functionality through some shell commands, through some interpreters, through some system libraries only they can communicate. So that is the advantage of the Unix operating system. So this is about simple structure. Now we will see another kind of structure, that is called layered approach. So in layer approach, we have number of layers. That means our operating system is divided into number of layers. Each layer is placed on the top of other layer. Suppose you have n layers, the bottom layer is 0 and it is the hardware, and the highest layer is, let us say, n, that is the user interface. In between, that depends on the operating system, that depends on the functionalities, the number of layers has to be added. And with modularity, and these layers are selected such that each uses functions and services of only lower level layers. That means if any user level interface or user program or application program try to interact with the hardware, it has to communicate through different layers. Okay, now we will understand with the diagram. So here we have two diagrams. So see this diagram. So here layer 0 is the hardware, this is the layer 0, then layer 1, then layer 2, like that layer n. So we can arrange layers one after another. At the lowest level we have the hardware, and at the last level we have the user interface. If the user interface interact with the hardware, it cannot directly interact with the hardware. It provides the security. So the layer interact with the lower layer only. The last layer interact with the lower layer only. Okay, nth layer, 0th layer interact with the above layer 1 only. If layer 2 want to interact with layer 0, the commands are the communication through layer 1. If it communicates with layer 3 or layer 4, through layer 2 only it communicates. That means at any level the layer can communicate with the lower layer and the above layer. So it provides the security. So that is the advantage in case of these kind of operating system structures. And coming to the negative part, if the layers are increased based on the functionalities or based on the similarities of the functions, the communication may take too much time. Suppose if you have many layers to communicate with the hardware, it will take more time, so that the efficiency may decrease. So that is the disadvantage. And one more disadvantage is, if you add new functionality to the existing operating system, on which layer you can put this functionality? So that is the question mark. Okay, so even though the layer approach is better than the simple structure, but it has its own disadvantages. So that is about layer approach. And the next approach is microkernel approach. In microkernel approach, the majority portion is moved from the kernel to the user space. That means before the microkernel approach, most of the functionality of the operating system is in the kernel space. Okay, so here what the change is shifted to user space. That means focus on the user space. We reduce the burden on the kernel space and move the more functionality to the user space. And here the communication takes place between user modules using message passing. So through message passing, the communication has to be established between the modules. And benefits by using this model is, it is easier to extend a microkernel. That means the extension part, once the operating system was developed, in future if any additional functionality has to be added, you can easily add it. And easier to port the operating system to new architectures. So here the different modules are there and every module is divided. So you can convert it into another architecture also, that is called porting. And it is reliable. So because less code is running in kernel mode, so most of the interaction with the operating system is reduced. Okay, that increases the reliability and more secure also. So if we cannot communicate with the operating system, it is very difficult to communicate with the operating system directly. We have the user level programs to communicate. So definitely it provides security. Now we will understand this by the given diagram. So if you observe the diagram here, the lower part is hardware and this hardware is communicated with kernel and microkernel. So kernel and microkernel, and this microkernel is communicated with the user space. So this total is the user space. So through the user space it communicates with the microkernel, and within the user space only the applications are running and the library files are available. And even though the functionalities of the operating systems, part of the functionality is not complete, like file system, process server, pages, drivers, etc. are all put it in the user space. So if any additional services are needed from the user level or user space, it communicate with the microkernel, and microkernel communicate with the hardware. So like that, each part is separated so that you can easily update or add new functionality to this structure in future. So if you want to add any new functionalities, you can add here. So you can extend the functionalities. So even though every functionality has divided into modules, so you can easily update it to the new structure also. So that is the advantage of this microkernel. And coming to the negative part, it occupies more memory than the previous structures. When you compare, MS-DOS occupies very little space in MBs only. Unix operating system also in MBs. And later layer structure operating systems, earlier Windows and all, occupies some 1 GB, up to 1 GB only. That is great. Now the microkernel operating systems occupies more than 2 GB space, and some operating system we need 4 GB space. Like that, the space has to be increased. Okay, so that is only the negative side, but it has more positive sides when compared to the previous structures. So that is all about structure of the operating system, from the simple structure, layer structure, and this microkernel structures. So I hope you understand this session well. Thank you.